Hey guys, welcome to this video. Thanks for joining Rivalry Gaming. My name is Kane. This is going to be an overview for beginners, mainly for Cities Skylines on the PlayStation 4. So I'm going to go into new game mode here. We do have the new scenario option here, but you do have to pay the extra for the downloaded content for these. So I've not got these unlocked. So we're just going to go into the new map and start a new game from here. So you can see all the different maps we've got here. Now, something to bear in mind when you're looking at these, in the bottom right hand corner where it says base theme, temperate, tropical, boreal, tropical, temperate, what you'll find is something that's an island piece of land that's tropical. When you build buildings, eventually they will develop into skyscrapers, whereas boreal, or however you pronounce that, is, I think it produces what's called the European building structures, and they don't have any skyscrapers, so you won't end up with sort of the taller buildings, and that's what I actually like. There's European there, and boreal, I believe they're the same. I think temperate and tropical both do produce the skylines that you might, the skyscrapers that you might be looking for. So just something to watch out for when you're looking for that. So name your city. I'm going to leave it for that for now, and as I'm British, obviously left-hand traffic. You can use the dynamic weather. I usually have this turned off, but for this we'll have it turned on, and the day and night cycle turned on as well. I'm going to have unlimited money and some unlimited soil as well there. But that obviously turns the trophies off, so you can't earn trophies if you're cheating in that way, which I don't normally do. Okay guys, so here we've got our new map. This is the area you're going to build in. You start here, and you also, as the game progresses, you can unlock the other areas around it. You can build your city even higher. The water plays quite an important part in this game. Obviously you're going to need it for your citizens to drink and also to flush away their waste. I've got the game paused at the moment, but you will see I unpaused it. You can see all the water moving. And you can play around with the land. You can build more land, or you can retreat the land backwards, and this does affect what happens with the water. It's quite realistic, and it's good fun. You've got a city built up and you start playing around with the water in the wrong way, you will see your city flooded, and you have to quickly try and build barriers to save it and stuff. So this game does progress even further into more enjoyable parts. There's loads of traffic jams and stuff you get on this game, and believe it or not, it's surprising how enjoyable it is trying to sort out the traffic jams and find a different better system for your city and make it more run efficient. So we're going to go through a lot of that here. We'll try not to make it too complex. It's going to be a lot of information. You may need to pause the video or rewatch some of it. There is a lot of menu options to learn in this game, but as you go through it, it does get easier. You may find that you'll start your city over, and then you'll start it over again, you'll start it over again, and you'll perhaps keep doing this a few times just because you think of something else, or a new way to build, or something else you've seen in a video. So it's quite good fun. So what we're going to do first of all is just go on an overview of what we're seeing on the screen. Our big map area here. What you first see coming in is the freeway, or if you're British like me, it's the motorway. So you can see all the way up there, this freeway comes in. Also to the right, there's a freeway that joins there. We can't move the screen over to look at it, and at the moment you don't get any traffic either, obviously because it's not connected. But if you were to come down here, sometimes there's another freeway or something over here that might join on. You could add another one. There isn't. So we've just got this one here. But once you unlock that square above this one, you could amend and adjust those roads and freeway sections if you wanted to as well, so that's doable. Above that as well, you see that thin line above the freeway, that's a railway track, so we will need to connect that as well. Those roads, that highway and that railway line basically lead out of the city and bring in customers and goods if needed from outside the city. Okay, so you will be using those later. Okay, so we're going to go through everything we see on the screen so far. So just to where my cursor is down the bottom here, just to the left, you see the bulldozer icon with the square on it. So we push that, you see the screen changes to like a bulldoze construction type area. And if we had anything built, this is where you can just destroy it basically. It doesn't ask you to confirm yes or no, it basically just destroys it. Houses, unless it's something you've built special like a police station, it will ask you to confirm. But other than that, houses, trees, roads, businesses, they will just delete. So you can toggle that on and off by pressing square. You can get used to that one. Now the icon next to it with the triangle, Looks like a stack of a few cards there. So we push triangle, it does bring up all these options. Now that's quite a lot of menu options. I'm not going to go through that right now, I'll go through that towards the end of the video. So just holding down triangle, this time you don't toggle it like you do with the square button, you hold triangle down. And you can use the left stick to highlight any of these. You have to hold the stick in that direction, otherwise it just comes off. You have to push it in that direction, and then when you let go of the triangle button, it selects that menu. But we'll go through those at the end. Next icon along, okay, so just under where my cursor is, we've got the play bar. It's got the date on our game. If we push L3, it pauses the game. Push L3 again, it plays the game. If you hold L3, it will speed up to level 2. Hold L3 again, it speeds up to level 3. If I just keep holding L3, it will just keep changing like that. Hold L3 again, it just goes to the fastest. So you hold L3 and then just quickly let go. But tap it if you need to pause the game, and that is a handy feature, just tapping L3 to pause the game. You'll find that when suddenly you've got no electric and you need to sort a problem out. That's a really good idea. Next to that is our cash bar. Obviously I've got unlimited money, so that's fine. After that is the name of our town. After that is our population and how happy they are. So you'll see these, the money bar and the population bar, you'll see these with your total. And on the right where you see that 0 value at the moment, you'll see if it's in the process of going up and more population and more profit, or if it's going down. So it'll be red or green in that direction. So you can keep a close eye on if you've just started building loads of stuff and now you're making a loss, you'll be able to see it quite quickly there. That's quite good. And at the very bottom right there, you see those 3 bars. The top one's coloured green, the middle one is blue, and the bottom one is orange or yellow. And they're not highlighted at the moment, because what this is at the start of the game, basically that's saying we need residential areas. What your city needs is residential areas. So if I suddenly built loads of residential areas now, people moved in, you'd soon be asking for the blue commercial area, which is their shops, and their yellow industrial area, which is their workplace. So those bars would start increasing, and then obviously when we need more residents, the green bar then increases and gets higher as well. So it gives you an overall guide of what your city requires, whether it's more residents, more commercial shops and blue shops and stuff, or is it with the yellow, the industry and the factories for the people to work, their workplaces. Okay, and just above that, you've got the on the very right hand side, you've got the white camera icon, and it's got a picture of the share button on it. Sorry, my apologies, not the share button, it's the touchpad. And if you do that, we just get rid of everything there so you can see your city, a big overview of it. Not that we have a city at the moment. Okay, and then still at the very right hand side with the green question mark that says R3, basically the way this works is whenever you press R3, it brings up a window, but it brings up a window of more information based on whatever it is you have highlighted down the bottom here. You see I'm moving the cursor. So if I do click on R3 now, on the inspector tab I've got highlighted, R3, there we go, it brings up an information window about the inspector. Now I'm not going to read these and go through them all, but roads does the same, and you can learn a lot more information about these if you read through them, and it will tell you how you need to build, etc. But I'm going to go through these now. So basically inspector, when you click on it with X, brings up this blue circle, and if we had things to click on, like houses, businesses, things like that, we'd be able to get an information window up about that and see that that particular item in a lot more detail. Now I'm pushing here L2 to zoom out, R2 to zoom in. I use my left stick to move around, and my right stick turns the camera and the pitch of the camera. So there's the controls. Maybe should have gone through that first, but I'm sure you haven't suddenly turned the computer off and started playing it, and if you have, I'm sure you can figure out the camera controls. So R2 to zoom in, L2 to zoom out, just like in a race car driving game for the accelerator and brake, not zooming in and out. And next up is the roads. Click on roads, and we've got a lot of options here. So L1 and R1, the tabs at the top, will move between the different size roads. So this first one here is the small roads, medium roads, 6-lane road, highway ramps. This is the highway roads, roundabouts, different size roundabouts. And this one is the toll booths. Yeah, so you've got single sort of toll booths, and you've got the dual 2-way large toll booth. So initially you haven't got all the roads unlocked really until you start putting some down. So we start with, I have put a road down, and so this one-way road is unlocked at the moment, but usually you would just get this single road. So if we've got this single road equipped now, we can just, obviously we just got a square road, we can just put it down there, it stays joint on, and if you want to come off that, you just press circle, and you can just connect another one anywhere you need to, really. Okay, so obviously this is where the traffic's coming in, so we're going to connect one coming in here like this. This is where the traffic will go back onto the highway. Now, if I hold triangle, I get a lot of these options. The main three you'll need is these three at the top. So my roads at the moment are straight. I can build them curved, and I can build them just freeform. If you lay a road and it's the wrong one, you can upgrade it and change it. These obviously repair, change direction. If you've laid the wrong one and upgraded it to be the right one, it's now a one-way road, but it's in the wrong direction. You just change direction. Snapping options, pretty much you could leave them as default. I'm not going to go through more of all those now, because otherwise that will just confuse you even more, I think. So let's choose freeform. Basically it's the same as curved, so we're going to go freeform. And I can start anywhere along this road as I want, but you do have these blue points for guides. So if I start here, it's now a dotted line instead of a full line. So I push it once, it now becomes the full line. But that's where the curve is pretty much where I clicked it. So I'm going to put this back on here just so they can get back onto the highway. And just do this one, start here, and then say bring this one around here. And then you can just say, pawn it like this, as like a little neighborhood, and put it up here. You just go crazy with it, you know. While you've got the road as well, if you push on the D-pad, if you push up once, it goes up a level. 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times. It's too steep there. If we bring it over here, we can start. How cool is that? Start bringing it down, and not completely happy just leaving it like that. Let's go back down to the ground. We do like, say, join it on there. I don't know why anyone would go up there, but I don't know, they want to laugh. But if anyone comes down here, not there, if you do actually click it and you think, oh, actually, no, I don't want that, I don't want that there, you just push the circle button, just the back button, like you would in many other games. So this time we're going to click this, we're going to start our curve, then we're going to push on the D-pad, we're going to go down, lower, 1, 2, 3, goes down 3 spaces below. So we'll just do 1 for now and stay at 1. See, now we're underneath all this, but if we're underneath the ground. If I do push up 1, we'll see where it comes. And obviously you can't cross roads if I've got one. Let's put this down the deepest, I'll show you. And then we'll start coming up here, and then we'll put it back up here. So as you can see, it's gone underground. If I push down on the D-pad now, while I haven't got anything road selected or anything, it goes underground. So you can see both. It's easier to see my cursors where I want to start my next road. I can set the height and just start from there. And now when you do have a road down there, and you want to put another road down there, they could get in the way of each other like that. We know this road here we just built was coming down, so the lower it comes down, once it gets down to the lowest, I can go over the top of it. I know I'm now going over the top of that, but if I want this one at the deepest as well, at some point they're going to cross over. The space is already occupied, but you can get around it just by, like, obviously raising your road up a little bit. That's where it comes up to the ground. Just nip it through here. So it's quite an easy build system with the roads, and there's the road system. The next tab along here is the zoning and districts. So this is where this gets nice. So residential area, wherever you put these roads, it creates these areas next to the road, ready for you to build up your citizens. So this green area is the residential. Remember I told you in the bottom right hand corner you've got green for residential? Let's unpause the game here. Let's just like shuffle these in. If you try and do it too quick, you miss them and stuff anyway. It's fiddly, but it's fun. Colour them in. Okay, and now the next one is the blue. This is your shops. This is where people work here as well. This is where they buy their food, clothes, everything else. You can spread these out a little bit. Important thing to remember on this bit, when you build your yellow, your industry, the people with the green, the residential, do not like to live near the industry. It's dirty, the ground goes horrible and muddy, it's just nasty. No one wants to live there near here. So I basically separate the areas with shops. So that could be industry as well, that's fine. Let's just put these as shops. We're going to block it off like here-ish. And just... So I'll do all that, and then I'll come back and once this is all built up a little bit more. Okay, now I've just chucked that down there, and as you can see I've filled in a lot of the areas. I've left some blank because we may not want those filled yet, we don't know what with. I've kept the blue areas, let's just pause the game there. I've kept the blue areas, the shops and stuff, in between, separating the yellow and the green. There should be enough space. These green area here, they may not like being so, they'll probably be alright, but let's just put some shops there instead. Okay, so that's how you basically set up the zoning area of the city. Now obviously these people are going to want power and water, as you can see. So this next tab along, utilities, got 3 tabs in this one. First one is power, water and sewage, and the third one along, when we unlock it, will be garbage. But this first one, the power, the electricity, so we've got the power pylon, but we need a wind turbine. We've got no other power source unlocked, so basically the wind turbine would give us power. The darker areas on the map, you can see are 7 megawatts of electricity production estimated, and it gets lower as you get into the lighter areas. So you want to obviously build in the darker areas. So we're going to put it away from the city a little bit, because obviously they don't like to live near these either. So we're going to put 2 down for now. You can build it a little way away about there, and you'll see the blue areas link up. Now they'll produce electricity. We just need a power pylon to connect it to our city. So you just you see with the power pylons, well, you can push up on the D-pad and down again to raise them up if you need them higher. So we're going to put that in the blue area, drag it out. Can be a little fiddly, there, we're good there. As long as it goes in that blue area there, then it will connect. Okay, and then when I unpause it, you'll see that will go blue. This pylon will go blue. Something else to note, as you see the pylon there, when I put it down, it took over some of these little squares. That's because people obviously can't live there now. So it does take up space if you cover up. I could put it here, say the pylon, and it'd be okay. But as more and more people move in, that power there will connect the electricity right across, because all the buildings will just link up automatically, so you don't have to connect them all manually. You just put it in the blue area and that'll be fine. And this blue area, it won't retract, it will only get bigger as people move into these areas, so I will be able to sort of delete out some of this pylon and always keep it on the edge of the blue area to keep power there. In the top left of the screen you can see the electricity availability at the moment. Because I've got the game paused, it hasn't given us anything, but it will tell you how much your city is consuming and how much you're producing, and obviously you need to keep just ahead of, not produce too much, because that's going to cost you a bomb to run it and maintenance costs. So you'd always need to just sort of stay ahead of what they need. You'll soon see if they need electricity, because it will go like that with the electricity, and you'll either just need to build another wind farm, or you can up the budget. Once you unlock the budget, you could just up the budget for the electricity if you've got it available, and then it would produce more and cover that deficiency. So the next tab along is the water and sewage. So first here, before we build any pipelines, we want to go to the water pumping station. So this is where we pump water from the sea to our city. And this next one along here, water drain, this is where the drainage will pump from the city back into the sea. Now what you have to note on this is there will be a tide, there will be a current, and the sea will be moving in one direction or the other, and you have to get it right, because otherwise, if you have your sewage pumping out here and it goes downstream here, and then your water intake pumps it back in, it's just going to pump the sewage back into the city, and everyone will get sick. And if you haven't got a clinic or a hospital, which you won't have, it's just going to wipe you out, and we don't need another pandemic. So we unpause the game, and we should see some sort of current. There's no current really, but you see the little white arrows there. If there was more of a current and it was stronger, you'd see a lot more white arrows. If we messed around with the coastline and stuff, we could perhaps make it stronger, but so this could go bad. I don't know if that's going to change later on. So what we'll do is you have to build these on the shorelines. This is where it's going to pump in water. So we definitely want it going from here. And we'll put it on the edge, because sometimes you do end up needing building tons of these later on. And we want the waste pipes as far away as possible. Hopefully this is also... there's not really an intake. There's not really a current here, and I think what will end up happening is, by the time this dirty water spreads out from the waste area, it will eventually get to here. And we will have to unlock this part of the map, Or we'll build some sort of canal or something for the water, just so we can pump the water from somewhere else to clean it. We have to pump it from a clean area. We'd have to unlock some more of the map. That is going to be an issue later on. Okay, let's just pause the game there. So we're not going to see a current, are we? So let's get our pipe. And you can just, I think you can just connect it straight across here underneath. Yeah, the quickest and cheapest way to 2 points is a direct line from A to B. This one looks like closest as well, so we'll just go from here. So it auto snapped on there. Did you see that? It just auto snaps onto this line, or it auto snaps right onto the end. I could put it, I don't have to go onto the end there. Oh, sorry, it's auto saving. So I could put it here. I can start here with the, I just want to do it from here, so I'm going to. Okay, so we're going to go over to here. You can see what area this water pipe's going to cover. So those people will now be covered. Usually I don't do it so haphazardly. Usually I would start building and do it more efficiently. Have it going across the map like this. And just about covering each area, overlapping each other. I would only build enough to cover where people are going to build. I wouldn't go all the way along yet to this other side, because early game you really just don't have enough money to be doing that. Late game, obviously that's just as you build further and expand, you just keep upgrading and overlapping these pipes like this to the edge of the city. As long as you've built here, there's no point doing it like I'm doing at the moment unless you've built here. So you can press square to go to the construction menu, refund it back. I don't think you get the full price of things. So I wouldn't go just building haphazardly and building loads of stuff. You're going to have to watch your money early game. Okay, so when I unpause this, they need power. Let's make sure they've got power. Let's go back to the power tab. Go to the pylons. We can put this one here in the blue area. Give him power. Remember the game's paused, so it's not going to take effect yet. Press circle to let go of that. We need to give him power as well. So this does cost a little bit of money. See, early game, you're looking at a good few grand. Let's put him there. That's 2,800. Is he in the area? Yeah, just. Okay, we'll unpause it. That one's already turned blue where we had unpaused a minute ago, and you'll see these areas turn blue. The pump stations will start working, and those people will no longer want water. They're consuming 1 megawatt of electricity. Yeah, so there's. Let's see what they're doing water-wise. So if we go into any water structure, go into it. At the top left, you can see the tab. Water availability is up full. Sewage treatment, it's not showing us online yet. Is that actually connected to the power or not? It said it was. Let's just double check that. It is. It's just taking longer. Is it connected here as well? Yes, it is. Okay, so that's fine. So we'll go back into the water. Sewage production 2720. Sewage drainage capacity 120,000 per week. So yeah, that is working. It just, oh, it is. The bar's right up now. There we go. It just takes a little while sometimes for it to work. It's just me being impatient. And obviously at the moment we haven't unlocked garbage disposal options, so that's as far as we've got on that menu. As for the other menus, we'll cover through those briefly, and then we're going to cut onto the holding down triangle menu from the beginning. Okay, so we'll go on to that.
Very strongly. JFK knew a great deal about the presence of others here on planet Earth.
You can put this in front of anyone, and they're going to go, wow, there's really something here.
Hmm. Okay, guys, here we are. Okay, so we've let the city build up a bit here. You can see these people here just running out of water, so we're just going to sort that problem out for them there. Just put, oh, there is enough water, but is that not connected? Yeah, that's not connected there, look. We can't really just connect a little piece, so let's just join this over. Right, okay. Where's our radio gone? I will leave the radio off anyway because we're just teaching you this. Okay, so we're just going to finish off going through the rest of these options here and the menu options. So this one here is healthcare and education. I can't go into these and open them up. This is where you build your clinics and your schools. This is your police station and your fire stations. This is for all your public transport, which starts off with buses, then goes on to unlocks subways, unlocks trains and taxis. You can build them above ground, on the ground, underground. I think also the subways and the trains go about 5 levels underground rather than just the standard 3 that the roads go. So I think they upgraded it so you could put them a bit lower. Okay, these 3 tabs here are mainly sort of to do with tourism and leisure. This one is actually the leisure part. This will serve your city, but will also bring in tourists. Same with these here. This is monuments. And this one here is unique buildings. So these are sort of buildings you'll be unlocking, and they'll bring in tourism, and they're more unique buildings like the Statue of Liberty, Leaning Tower of Pisa, etc. And they'll bring in the tourists, and your city will get benefit from money from that as well. So that's quite good. You unlock those later on. And this last tab here on the end is to do with landscaping. This is to do with raising the land, lowering the land, put a big hole in the land, moving it about here so that the water will come in further. It is expensive to move dirt though. You pick up dirt, you can carry so much dirt, and then you drop all the dirt, and it all costs a lot of money as well. So you can't do much of it early in the game. You've got to do a bit more towards the end. Okay, and then lastly, as promised, I said we were going to go through these options here. Obviously we've got the radio at the start, and you just choose whichever one you want. Choose your station, basically. Okay, so I've got this, let's actually just mute it for now. Next one is the areas of the map here. So you can get into this, remember, by holding down triangle. Holding down triangle, and then the left stick, you hold in the direction you want, and then you let go of triangle. So this is going to be the areas of the map. We could upgrade to the next area adjacent to us. Not diagonally, only adjacent, left, right, up or down next to it, and we can unlock a new area of the map. You click on it, you can see the outside connections and how much it costs, etc. So it gives you a good overview of the map there as well. The next option under holding triangle, push right on the left stick, is the economy tab. This is the taxes. Once we unlock this part, you can put the taxes up to around 12%. And then for the more high density residential and high commercial, you can put them up to about 13% if people don't mind, otherwise they have to build about around 12. Budgets here, you can play around with the budget for the road, for the electricity, you can change the budget. This helps if, for instance, say you've built a power plant or a wind farm, and you've got enough power for your citizens, and if it's on 130% here, day and night cycle, look, if you've got on about 130% for your power, and that's just about enough to cover your city at the moment, that's great. And then when the city runs out of power, rather than buying a new wind farm, which is more expensive, you just up the budget, say to 140, 150% on the day and night cycle. And then you'll notice, obviously, increasing the budget, that will give you more power, your city will be powered more. When you have got it to 150% on the day and night cycle, and your city needs more power, obviously then you will need to build perhaps a wind farm or something. That will produce maybe too much power slightly if you've only built one, so you might want to drop this back down to 120, 130% or something and see if that's enough to cover people, because you don't want to be paying too much for electricity and having surplus electricity, because early on in the game you need to watch your budget a little bit. And the more you play around with these budget tools and get them just right, covering enough for your city, so you've got enough garbage disposal going on, enough clinics and stuff, this will free up your money a little bit more in other areas. Just a little bit enough everywhere. Doing this will make sure your budget is just about covering what you need and not too much, and you're not wasting money. Okay, so the next tab, when we push R1 and go over here, is loans. You can get the loans you need and you pay them back weekly, so it has the weekly cost. You don't really notice the loan coming out. It does help, but I wouldn't go crazy taking loans because it does cost you a bit of interest as well. And lastly, this last tab here is where you can see how leveled up your buildings are, how much money you're making from them. And on the right hand side of the screen you can see our income and expenses as well. So you can see we've got more outgoings in the orange. We've got more money going out than we've got coming in at the moment. That's because I've been spending and stuff as well. If we go back here, yeah, you can see the money tab at the bottom says minus 339. That will change as more and more people move in and you build up the area. That will change and you'll start making a bit of a small profit. Next option here under triangle is the info views. Now this gives you a good overview of everything on your city. I'm not going to read through all of these, but basically you've got things like the land value, transport, pollution, wind. It just gives you a good overview of everything. Your garbage. See, it's okay if it's all in blue, then they're covering the area and stuff. That's fine, but this gives you a good overview of everything in your city and how it's running at the moment. And that was the info views. Now if you go to transport routes, we haven't got any at the moment, but this is where they'll be under all these tabs. Your buses, your subways, your trains, your people walking, maybe that's the cycle routes, I'm not sure. And I thought that would be taxi. It's not coaches. I don't know what this tab is on the end here. I haven't got a clue. I'm sure that's something. Well, that's fine. Next one is milestones. Boom! When you reach a population of 400, this is what the screen will pop up. At the moment, we've got a population of 244 out of 400. So this screen will pop up when we reach 400, and we'll unlock these next things here. You can push right on the D-pad and see what the next things are that you're going to unlock, but I don't want to show you them too soon and confuse you or give spoilers or anything. So we'll leave that one up there. Okay, the next one is policies. Okay, and under the policies tab, this is where you can enact policies for your city. For instance, recycling, slightly reduced garbage accumulation, but slightly reduced tax income. So they usually have a good and bad sort of side. For instance, like smoking ban, slightly increased health, slightly decreased happiness. So you can choose these for your town, how you want it set out. The next tab along is taxation. So this one here, tax raise for low density residential, and you can just enact these policies here. Tax raise for offices, quite a few just options there. The next one is city planning, high-tech housing, industrial space planning. So all these options here, high-rise ban, give you all these options to sort of mould your city a bit more into how you want it. And the events will be more available when you unlock the football stadium. So by spending money on training young players, the team has increased odds to win. Applies to all stadiums, costs £9 per week. Yeah, it's quite a lot. So you've got some options there just for match day when you've got a football stadium. So we come back out of there, and the last one here, city info, gives us an overview of our city, who's in our city, the age ratings, etc. Statistics, gives you some good graphs you can toggle on and off. And then the chirper is just your little man there. You can choose how he looks. Okay, so I think that's everything covered. Lastly, I'm just going to sort of give you a list of for when you start a level, you start a map, the main things you do want to sort of get in place early on is water. The water in and the water out, the disposing of the water, because you'll end up building a load of roads, you'll forget about buying these, you'll put people in and you would have forgotten to put the water in. Also, give the water power, make sure they have water and electricity, and you've bought the electric and the water pipes up to here, and then from there that's your main two really. Once you've got those two, don't waste loads of money on roads, keep it all built fairly close here and start leveling up and getting people into your city as soon as possible so you can start earning money. You want people coming in, probably more green than this. You'll have a lot more green than you will blue and yellow because there's a lot more people than there is the blue and yellow commercial and industrial areas. So you'd get people moving in here. This would start building up nicely, give you some more money. Remember, keep the greens away from the yellows because they don't like the industrial areas. They don't want to live there. So you keep them apart with some shops like that. Okay, so you've got all individual options when you go into these as well. You're zoning your areas. This all unlocks more and more as you go through the game. But remember, you can press R3, the question mark on any of these things, and it will tell you what they do. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed this guide. Chuck me some comments, what you liked, what you didn't like, what you need more of, further information on any items. We'll see if we can produce some special content on that for you if needed. Alright, thank you very much for tuning in. Cheers guys.